Unong yalam kaliang persya hak jela u Dr. Mukul sama u Baderu u Dr. MBBS. Ulapan pau ke jing songkia halor ke jing pendan kam gipat ba na kidawai klem da betha de doktor. Hak bau la yathu bola ikundu ye kibriu ki badan ye kidak kisien covid. Henry habakli kumno ki semar ki yathu bakila di hi ya kidawai bad dandru ki bladi ye kidawai bela betha de doktor jekon. Bad kidawai ki basuk banjo ni farmasi. Ulang bakadon ka an man perking ye ki farmasi bat ki drug inspector ki bade ban pej baki dawai de ban de tang sha ki tu bala yo ka jingtho na ki doctor bat hospital khamtam ha ka ni ka por lem kumta ka jingdi dawai hi kanwara ka jing e ka jela ha ki sing ban wan ha ka ju ka por long bakala danru ka jing ban kam bakla ye ki dawai steroid ha ka bala kan tu hi pa ba balong ki ba fikir bat don ye ka jingkat kli balada kisem baki dan kino ki jing stam Kidai ban letbet shagi jaka ajing smart bahajan kumha ki CHC PHC bat ki sub center bat haring balada ban peni hagi doktor Sashim ya ki dawai u Dr. Mokul loong ru bawat hagi thai no kendong kidan ki ba ki bakot no knyang jingpang COVID-19 bat lesi kila wan penen kam da ki dawai kan ban Henry loong baye kiniru haban tip man pitikana na kabakile ya ki test ha kabe kaliang menteri rangba barim ke jela ulong bahadin ke jingyo jingtip bahadin ke jinglap ha ke jingjurip jong kaliang persya menta ke singila ajing mot biang ru ya ke sarkar ya kilat benyada na ke jingebet ni syakta au kenyang jingpang coronavirus ha ke jinglang belalum do lampang ke ing darbar menta ke singi Dr. Mukosama ulai thu bola pensengo khmat ke sarkar halor ke jingpam trikam ya ki ventilators balai ha ki civil hospital Bar kumjuru halo ke jingmam trikam ye ki ICU ki bla banyada ki babon ki jingem jeng ki nong snong ki basak ta ha COVID-19 ulai thu shushu bana keleng ke sarkar kala kularu ban penbiang no ha borok ke district ye ki ambulance ki bla ban ajing smart ye ki nong pang ha ba pen ket ke hospital ya ke ba sarkar kala de ban penbiang na do khaman chua
I would like to share my concern with everyone. The concern is indiscriminate use of the medicines by unauthorized people, meaning indiscriminate use of various important life-saving medicines without the prescription of a registered medical practitioner. This is something which has drawn our attention and which I have shared. Now, in number of instances when I talk to the patients who are probably down with this COVID-19, who have not come forward for testing, and who have recovered. I asked them, how was the symptoms? The symptoms indicate that they were actually down with COVID-19 and they have recovered. So what was the treatment? The treatment is that they are having self-medication by using local, whoever are not trained medical professionals, but then some so-called, we refer to them as what? We refer to them as quacks. Okay. But then these medicines are available in the pharmacies. Now pharmacies have to be audited. We have complete relevant law for drug control measures. You have the drug inspector and all those medicines which are required to be administered only after prescription by a registered medical professional or registered medical practitioner must be routed only through the hospitals and medical institutions during this pandemic time. Otherwise, there is likelihood of, real public health crisis in the days ahead. If very important life-saving antibiotics are being indiscriminately being administered to the patients, and that is also without following the normal dose. Whenever you start administration of an antibiotic, the full course has to be administered to a patient. In the event of any challenges associated with secondary infection and the complication associated with such secondary infection will require these important life-saving medicines. But if these important life-saving medicines are misused left and right now, you will end up seeing that many of the complications which is associated with secondary infections may pose a real challenge before the medical fraternity and therefore create a real public health crisis. Similarly, rampant and complete indiscriminate administration of steroids also have been brought to our notice. I have asked some of them, what were the medicines that you were asked to buy? So steroids were asked to be bought. The antibiotics, which are usually kept for a situation when we have to administer them to save lives during complications due to secondary infections, or even in cases of septicemia, those are the medicines which are being used. So this is one area of concern which we have shared today, and I would like to share with all the citizens of the state. We must, during this crisis situation, demonstrate our sense of responsibility, and the state has, though with limitation, have all the medical infrastructure across the state. You have the CHCs, you have the PHCs, you have the sub-centers, you have also still some dispensaries across the state, and there are manpower posted. They must go to them. They must seek their advice and get prescription, and subsequently let them be subjected to testing. Now there is an inhibition of the people from coming forward for getting themselves tested. This particular challenge also has to be overcome by all of us collectively. And I have been told by some of our people in the rural areas that people are recovering faster in some areas. You don't know, they might be using some local herbs. And these local herbs may be something which is considered as a gift of God. And only when they get tested and confirm that the cases were COVID-19, and if they're responding to that medicine, that means they will be able to claim that these medicines are actually helping in faster recovery. It may not be a curative medicine, but if it is capable of ensuring faster recovery of COVID-19 patients, then they must be known. Scientific community will then further have phytochemical studies and other related studies, and scientific documentation can be done, and necessary usage of such medicines can be. This is what happened to penicillin. It was actually identified by default. We have been assured today that new ambulances with advanced life support equipment will be purchased immediately for every district. This should have been done long time ago, because this is how we equip the whole medical fraternity, the frontline workers, with the arsenal. When you're sending your people to a war, they must be equipped with all the necessary arsenal. And this arsenal is again determined by what kind of enemy you're going to fight, what are the kind of challenges that you're going to face from the enemy. So these are basic things which were expected to have been put in place in the past, but on our auditing of all the facilities we came to know, and today we have put it in front of this meeting, and they must be corrected immediately. No, there is no ambulance with advanced life support system put in place in any of the districts. Okay, be clear on that. That's why if you are buying ambulance, you buy the ambulance which can save lives. Okay, we are not playing to gallery. We mean business. So if we are fighting against this COVID-19, we should know what type of ambulance has to be purchased. See, I would say that there should have been high level of commitment with utmost seriousness and conviction, which is found to be missing from what we see. We had this exercise since last 1 year, ever since the pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic confronted us. And this exercise has been there with the sole intention to engage with utmost sincerity and high level of commitment, so that the state can minimize the miseries and sufferings that our people are subjected to because of the pandemic, and to ensure that while doing so we save precious lives. So since last 1 year we have been doing this, and we have been also sharing with all of you about the concerns, about the suggestions that has been always put forward during this kind of engagement and discussion with the government. Today, subsequent to last meeting, this is another meeting that has been convened, and during this interim time we also have gone to the ground zero to find out exactly what is happening in different districts, because the presentation notwithstanding, we must know the ground zero. And based on various inputs that we received from the citizens from across the state. And today, that's why I've been very candid, because our engagement should be an enabling effort to take corrective measures wherever needed, to have a course correction wherever needed. Now, since last year, we knew that many measures have been put in place, particularly in respect to testing, diagnosis, isolation, containment, treatment, and saving as many lives as possible. And because of the nature of the disease, since some of the patients can actually go to a very critical conditions, measures were required to be put in place. Since last year, those were also told to have been done, including equipping many of the district civil hospitals, in addition to the state capital state hospital, with all the oxygen beds, the ventilators, the ICUs. And so with that kind of presentation that this particular civil hospital is provided with this many oxygen beds for different categories of patients, and also for any critical patients, so many numbers of ventilators have been provided with so many beds of ICUs. But since we were looking at quite a substantial, alarming number of death counts due to this COVID-19, we tried to find out more. And unfortunately, today what we have said is that why have those ventilators which were already provided to respective civil hospitals and other medical facilities were not operationalized? Because they were meant for saving lives of those patients who are likely to go to a very, very critical condition where they require this intervention. And why the ICUs have not been made operational. By doing so, we could have saved many precious lives. These are the concerns that we have shared. And see, sometimes we have to be more aggressive in getting compliance from the side of the authorities to have the course correction. We have insisted that all these ICUs and the ventilators which are made available to respective medical infrastructure must be made operational. They were not made operational because to operate an ICU or to put a patient to a ventilator, to intubate the patient, you require appropriate training of the medical fraternity, whoever is assigned with the task. And therefore, this training was not given. Why was this training not given, and why was not ICU operationalized? Because we were made to know that the ICUs are there. When you are telling that ICU is there, so many beds of ICU, so many numbers of ventilators, that means we are made to believe that they are operationalized and they are being put to use for the purpose they were meant for. But they were not put to use, resulting in thinking that, okay, we could have saved more lives. Another part is that when you don't have facilities capable of dealing with the patients who go to a critical condition, you have to save the patients. None of the districts have this ambulance with both basic life support system and advanced life support system, without which you cannot expect a patient who is on a high flow oxygen to be able to be shifted safely to the destination, a hospital which is equipped with ICU. When you are talking about ventilators, they come with a price. When you are establishing ICUs, it comes with a price. But they must be put to use. Why were they not put to use? You could have saved more lives. You have to also see whether the private hospitals are equipped with these ICUs. If they don't have, provide them. If they have been provided, they must operationalize it. They must be able to use them. So what are those things which is required to be done? You had enough time. Second way today, unfortunately, the cases are increasing in the rural areas. We have to be very cautious. Though the number of the recorded positive cases are showing a flattening and declining number, but then if you go to the villages, I've been speaking to the villagers, I have been trying to find out from the ground zero, huge number of cases in villages are being reported. Now, there has to be a mechanism to really reach out to the community. Everything that is presented before us in black and white has to be implemented. It cannot remain as a document and a well-formatted presentation. But then actually, you have to see whether the strategy which is being formatted, the measures which are being put in place, are being implemented appropriately, are really put in place, or do you have the right kind of people who have been trained with the wherewithal to utilize those facilities and really implement the measures which are proposed and which have been shared with us. In fact, today we have reiterated the need to immediately look at those deficiencies which have been shared by us and address these concerns. Number one is to ensure that the ICUs which are established are operational. The ventilators which are available are put to use to save lives, which has not happened till now. So they have to train people. They must be more aggressive, send more people for training. Similarly, when you need to transfer a patient who has gone to a critical condition from one particular hospital where they don't have the ICU facility, they must be provided with an ambulance for transportation or shifting of the patient. An ambulance which has got advanced life-saving support system. Without that, the patient will die on the road. And this is the concern that we have, and we have been promised that some more new ambulances with advanced life-saving equipment will be purchased for every district. So this engagement will be continuous, and we will further proceed to see what are those areas of concern which the government should immediately take cognizance of and correct, and ensure that we are able to really, as far as possible, minimize the suffering and miseries of the people and save precious lives.